started getting scared because we couldn't fly Jersey.
What the hell?
What have we said before? Right, you even have to hair. You have to.
I don't have enough things. I don't want to be
Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos, Brathim Aba'im, welcome. Here we are, the last Shabbat of 5779. Very exciting, a moment right before Rosh Hashanah, which begins on Sunday night. And I hope we continue the process of preparing ourselves for this holy day season that begins on Sunday night. To that end, we are using a different Siddur tonight. Hopefully everyone had a chance to pick it up. This is a beautiful text called Mishkan Halev, and we got it just a couple of years ago, and we're grateful to our confirmation classes who donated the copies. And it's the book that has a beautiful slichot service in it. We used it this last Saturday night. And Kendra, Belinda, and I both looked at it and at the same time realized, wait a minute, there's a beautiful Shabbat service in it as well. And so tonight we're going to pray the Shabbat service that's in this book, Shabbat Shalom, and join together in readings that are appropriate for the Hebrew month of Elul and for approaching the High Holy Days. We're also going to review a melody that we'll be using during our High Holy Day services.
You broke it.
I really hope that's not what I think it is. I really do. Excuse me.
All right, talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Oh, ladies and gentlemen.
Or if it's either a real thing or it's we have a history of the Dibbick. And
The book is ready for the holidays.
There is legend that it's actually real. I was there many years and then the Dibbick went away.
Oh, well, Shana Tova Dibbick, we're glad you're here.
So I think I prefer the idea of the Dibbick
Then a sound issue 2 days
sound
before.
issue that we're
All right, so deep cleansing breath. Let's come back and begin our new journey again. Now let's open up our Machzorim to page 3. Hine ma tov. How good and how sweet it is to join together as brothers and sisters. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gavilachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gavilachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Yalala, yalala, yalala. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Yalala, yalala, yalala. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gavilachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gavilachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Yalala, yalala, yalala. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Yalala, yalala, yalala. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gavilachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gavilachad. Let's all take a nice deep Shabbat breath in and out. Allowing ourselves to open up to the possibility of a new year that's approaching, to open up to the possibility of the self-reflection, the self-observation, the contemplation that we'll be doing over the coming days, opening our hearts to the sweetness of Shabbat and the opportunity to rest. One more nice deep breath. Let's turn to page 6. Before we slip too quickly into the season of the soul, let there be a Sabbath of Sabbaths for the heart. Before the music of creation's majesty, let there be a silent praise of existence. Before the feast of sanctified words, let there be a poetry of solitude. Before we enter the palaces of prayer, let us find within ourselves a place of calm. Before we revel in the wondrous and sublime, let there be an honest inward gaze. Before the rites and ceremonies of awe, let there be quieter days and island of attentiveness. Page 7. Now is the time for turning. The leaves are beginning to turn from green to red and orange. The birds are beginning to turn and are heading once more toward the south. The animals are beginning to turn to storing their food for the winter. For leaves, birds, and animals, turning comes instinctively. But for us, turning does not come so easily. It takes an act of will for us to make a turn. It means breaking with old habits. It means admitting that we have been wrong, and this is never easy. It means losing face. It means starting all over again, and this is always painful. It means saying, I am sorry. It means recognizing that we have the ability to change. These things are terribly hard to do, but unless we turn, we will be trapped forever in yesterday's ways. God, help us to turn from callousness to sensitivity, from hostility to love, from pettiness to purpose, from envy to contentment, from carelessness to discipline, from fear to faith. Turn us around and bring us back toward you. Revive our lives as at the beginning, and turn us toward each other, for in isolation there is no life. And now we turn to page 10 for the lighting and blessing of our Shabbat candles. And it's an honor to invite up the winches and Ellen Goldman to light our Shabbat candles. Page 22, we continue to welcome Shabbat into our space with Lecha Dodi. Stay standing, dear friends, and we're going to turn together to the Chatzi Kaddish on page 24. Please read with me in the middle of page 29. Holy is twilight, the realm of in-between, and so our sages taught, pray in the moments when light and darkness touch. We are all twilight people, between categories and labels. May the sacred in-between of this evening suspend our certainties, soften our judgments, widen our vision. Let it illumine our way to the God who transcends all boundaries and definitions. Blessed are you, God of all, who brings on the twilight.
Ahavat Olam,
Beit Yisrael, Torah mitzvot, chukim mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Alkeinu Adonai Eloheinu, b'shachreinu u'kuvneinu, nasiyat וקראתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וקראתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Please turn with me back to page 35. And let's read together this moving translation of V'ahavta that picks up some of the themes for this time of year, the V'ahavta for Elul. You shall love the ones who are close with all your heart, with all your spirit, with all your strength. Remember these words, inscribe them on your heart. Love them when they struggle, when they sadden and disappoint you. Love them when they fail. See the good within them, even when they can't. Look at them and listen, even when it's hard. Be grateful for their guidance, even their reproof, when they save you from yourself. Love them when they give you joy, and love them when they don't. When you lie down, let go of anger. When you rise up at dawn, begin again. Praise them for their deeds at home. Speak to them in public with respect. Bind yourselves to the ones you love with promises kept and vows fulfilled. Open to them the gates of your heart, the doorway of your soul, and let them know you. So shall the ones you cherish feel your love, your presence, and your care. Page 41. Eternal, watch over my small domain of light and shadow, those few people who share my love and all others upon this earth that sometimes shakes with thunder and reverberates with lightning. Help us to live with fear and conquer rage. Heal the hate that makes us kill and covers the ground with this Red Sea that only you can part, so we may all walk through the wilderness to your realm of peace, where all men and women are one, and sing your blessed name. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 mi hammo chaba elim Adonai mi hammo Let's read together in the middle of the page. Peace comes with the sunset. Cool breezes ease the heat of day. All things settle into stillness. Gentle song of crickets, moonrise and the silence of night. Give us shelter in your presence. Bring peace to those who yearn for peace. Enfold us in your quiet. Let our fears find rest in you. Shabbat Shalom. tefillah, the central prayer of our service, begins on page 48. I would like to invite all who are able to please rise. Again, through page 74. Shabbat Shalom. And good Shabbos again. There's all these different steps of preparation of our physical space. Last week we were talking about how it felt to have the walls down and have the seats prepared, and watching the way the physical transformation of our building reflects the internal preparation that we're starting to feel. And now, with our beautiful setup here of donated food, which will go to the Shoreline Soup Kitchen and pantries, and which is a reminder that we'll be collecting donated food on Yom Kippur for those of you who would like to participate. It's just more of the ways in which we're getting ready for the approaching Holy Day season. So I hope some of the readings tonight in the Machzor and this special prayer books night have helped you and maybe, I don't know, turned different gears in your mind towards Teshuvah, towards that turning back for which we all pray and work towards at this time of year. Let's now turn our hearts and our souls towards people in our families, in our community, our friends who may be ill, who may be suffering tonight, who may be in pain. And let's send them our prayers of healing. Let's send them prayers for shlemut, for peacefulness, for wholeness. Tonight, the community of CBSRZ especially sends our healing prayers to Reagan Konecki, John DiNicola, Nancy Schwamm, Marion Swidler, Larry Mancini, Charles Sabat, Burl Bellows, Carrie Bellows, Iris Clark, Stacy Reed, Debbie Clymer, Nan Kraszewski, Daphne Rosenberg, Heather Waters, Joyce Giuseppe, Savannah Johnson, Lenore Lesser, Jimmy Imbrogno, Donald Hoffman, Denise Davies, Howard Schwedel, Ruben Starkman, Jerry Kelly, and Harvey Goldstein. Who else are you thinking of tonight and sending your prayers for a refuah shlema, a complete and speedy recovery to?
Jonathan Kibeta and Dan Alexander.
Reagan Dave Alchek.
Marsha Spurley.
Ted Phillips, Gladys Feynman, Lenore Dorsey, Betty Nault.
Marie Vasquez.
Sarah Neal.
Mishaberach Avotenu Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Ve'imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel, V'yivarech, V'yirapeh, et kol ha'cholim ha'ela. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, bless and heal all who are ill, all who are suffering tonight. May they soon be blessed with that return to wholeness and wellness for which we all pray. May their caregivers, their doctors, their family members be blessed with wisdom, with compassion, and kindness. Baruch atah Adonai Rofeh HaCholim. We praise you, God, who cares for the sick. And let's say together, Amen. Let's turn to page 77 to join in Mishaberach. home safely and those who have escaped danger in any way. And so on behalf of those people in our lives who've experienced those gifts, which we never want to take for granted, we praise you, God, who makes good things happen in the world around us. And let us all say, Amen. So, do we have any smachot, any simchas, birthdays, anniversaries, special things going on in your lives that you'd like to share? Deb, you look like you're about to share something.
Sharply take a breath, waiting for someone to.
Oh, you're excited to hear from
Excited,
people.
yes.
Oh, so please help Deb. She's here waiting to hear a
The
simcha.
birth of a great-grandniece.
You have a birth of a great-grandniece. Mazel tov. What's her name? Hannah. Oh, what a wonderful name. Mazel tov to the whole family. May she be blessed with health and a long, wonderful life. Anyone else?
Well,
Deb?
I will just say that I'm so pleased and happy that my friends are here, my friend Mary Lou, and my friends Barry and Cecile,
Oh, beautiful.
and
Well,
more.
Good. And everyone.
I've been upgraded to friend.
Good job. You know what comes next? I don't know. Maybe you'll get to, be more than friends, which we wish for you too. You guys seem like a great couple, you know? Might have a
We're
future.
thinking about it.
All right. Oh, boy. So, new. It's a perfect segue. Through many years, for many years, Congregation Beth Shalom Rofei Tzedek has had a tradition of having an Elul Speaker series. A series of Friday nights leading up to Rosh Hashanah throughout the Hebrew month of Elul, where we've picked a theme and we've invited congregants, your fellow congregants, to come and speak, to share personal stories and reflections based on the theme. And this year's theme has been L'chaim, celebrating Jewish life. And that sounds a little vague, and what we were specifically looking for was people to share stories about the very unique and surprising pathways that they took towards membership here to eventually becoming part of the CBSRZ family, and the ways in which we celebrate the fact that they are part of our family. And so Deb Rutty is tonight's third and final Elul speaker, and it's a pleasure to invite you up to the bima now. Let's see how it sounds. You want to test
How
it?
does that sound?
No, it's
Good.
a bit closer.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that is that's the high-tech version. How's that?
Good.
So, my story is both unique and common. I went to an Orthodox synagogue for the first 17 years of my life, stopped practicing for 46 years, and came back to the tribe about 9 years ago when I joined CBSRZ. So that's the beginning, the long, middle, and the end. Why did I run away, and why did I come back? So, once upon a time, in the city of Bridgeport, Connecticut, there lived a 10-year-old girl named Debbie Shapiro. She felt loved and safe. Her mother, Ruth Leviton, first-grade teacher, raised as an Orthodox Jew. My uncle said if she were a man, she could be a rabbi. Debbie's father, Louis Shapiro, family of conservative Jews, second of 8 children, in chronological order, Lily, Louie, Irving, Morris, Bernie, Bertie, Sidney, Eleanor. He was me. He taught me to ride a bike and throw a ball. Both sets of grandparents spoke Yiddish. I never really had more than a marginal conversational exchange with them. Childhood memory, grandfather Nathan Leviton davening in the living room, not to be interrupted under any circumstances. He was the last horse and cart peddler in the city of Bridgeport. He called me Devil. Paternal grandfather Nathan P. Shapiro, the P for Pincus, but familiarly changed to Pinochle due to his card-playing prowess. Grandma Leviton, affectionate. Grandma Shapiro made the best apple pie I've ever tasted to date. She hummed a lot. My brother Bob preceded me by 3.5 years. When we were kids, we walked the mile plus to the Orthodox shul named Shara Torah, which was closest by geography. Women on one side, men on the other. And while I could read and recite the prayers, I was, for the most part, clueless about what they meant. But I did learn my alphabet and could read aloud pretty fluently. I recently discovered old Hebrew workbooks that would surprise me how much I had learned but forgotten. Every night before I went to sleep, I faithfully said my evening prayers, and we always fasted for Yom Kippur. Okay, you could use a tiny dab of toothpaste. But over the years, my parents became what they called middle-of-the-road Jews. We even ate some ham. For some unknown reason, I did not receive much by way of Jewish education at home. What I remember most vividly is helping my mother prepare for Pesach. We cleaned the kitchen and brought up the Passover dishes, which I later in life realized were made of ruby depression glass. Hebrew school in the 1950s, as with education in general of that era, not exactly progressive. But of greatest significance was the somber tone of my teachers, exemplified by Mr. Gervitz, who had numbers tattooed on his arm. How could anyone who had survived that nightmare have an upbeat attitude on life? He was dignified, and we respected him. But some of my classmates were disrespectful to our other teachers. The phrase I remember most from Hebrew school is, "Sheket b'vakasha," quiet. Was it perhaps because my teachers were so scarred by their experience that they could not explain it to us, and so we could not understand why they were so intent on teaching us to beware? In any event, the effect on me was that the Judaism I experienced in shul and in the classroom was devoid of any joy. The words joy and Judaism would not have come up for me in a word association game. Anyway, taking after my father, who liked to pick and choose which rules suited him, especially in driving, I was a rebellious teenager. My mother referred to me as stubborn, which I took to be a compliment. Jewish boys did not appeal to me. They were nerdy or square. All the boys I had a crush on were Gentile. The exception being my senior year Jewish boyfriend, who lifted weights and whose father was a cop. So at age 17, I left Bridgeport to go off to college at UConn and Stores. I was married to my first husband, Bob, in my sophomore year, and became a new mother at age 19. My son, a darling little boy we named David. He grew up in an environment where humanism took the place of religion. The secular Christian world of my new in-laws was enticing. Easter ham, real presents exchanged at Christmas, not just token Hanukkah gifts. They were loving and welcomed me as their daughter. I divorced Judaism while never renouncing my self-identity as a Jew. Meanwhile, I had begun my teaching career. At school and in life in general, my colleagues knew that I was Jewish, but I did not normally reveal this to my students. In fact, I often did not take days off for important Jewish holidays because I felt that would be hypocritical since I was not a practicing Jew. Fast forward, after 13 years of marriage, Bob and I divorced amicably, and in a few years I met my current husband, whom you know as Warren Reddy, raised Catholic, but not practicing. Once again, I gained a wonderful Christian family in my daily life, this time including the gift of 2 granddaughters, Isabella and Dave. After retiring from teaching in 2003, I had thoughts off and on about joining the synagogue, but I did not know anything about Reform Judaism, and unfortunately had misconceptions about CBSRZ. Would I feel comfortable there? Was it primarily a bunch of rich people? Perhaps I was not ready to find out. And also, I am by nature a reluctant joiner. Fast forward again to 2010. One day, by chance, I walked into Mark Jewelers in Old Lyme and met Marilyn and Neil Godfrey. They were glowing in their description of CBSRZ and urged me to visit. At this point, I was feeling like something fulfilling was missing from my life. and a diagnosis of cancer, surgery, and chemo was a powerful motivator to reassess what was important. So I decided to give CBSRZ a try. Beth and Jeff Brewer were assigned to sit with me. They made me feel welcome and offered support during my first couple of services. I recited the Shema for the first time in 46 years and was overwhelmed at my visceral response to the words and chant that felt like a long-buried part of my DNA. Then, Lauren Gister, as head of membership, wisely offered me tickets to all high holiday services. I went to every one. I was blown away. This was not the kind of services that I remembered. Everything was so vibrant, so deep, so emotional. Tears welled up as long-ago prayers took on a new tone. But it was when I heard Cantor Belinda and John DiNicola sing L'Adore V'Adore that I broke down and actually cried. Their voices were so closely entwined in angelic harmony. And the rabbi was a woman. Rabbi Goldenberg delivered her Rosh Hashanah sermon. It was bold and yet tender, weaving threads of past and present into a fabric of powerful meaning. So, little bit by little, I became more of a part of the community, which I valued for its inclusiveness, warmth, humor, and diversity of interests. I started taking photos of synagogue events, many of them ending up on the pages of the whole Megillah. I joined music and more. I learned to play mahjong. I became one of the historic Bat 8, myself and 7 other women, guided by Rabbi Michal and Cantor Belinda to prepare for coming to know Mitzvah. Many of the Bat 8 became the very active adult ed committee. I now sing backup vocals with our house band, the Glockenspielers, and find immense satisfaction and camaraderie singing with our choir. I'm an alto tenor. Who knew? So here's the wrap with a W. There's an irony here. In the non-practicing decades of my life, I did not actively reveal my religious identity at a time when anti-Semitism was present, but not overtly rampant. I did not particularly look Jewish, and I could pass as Christian. Now I wish to be forthcoming about being a Jew and proud of it, in a time when I now have to carefully weigh when and to whom I will reveal it, and not just when traveling to southern states. That being said, I'm so grateful that I made a wise choice when I opted to become part of this vibrant and welcoming community. I feel a kinship with those who have converted to Judaism as adults. Like them, I am lacking a backlog of many years of missing the big and little elements of leading a Jewish life. There is a hole in my experience and understanding. The theme of this year's Elul Stories is L'Chaim, celebrating Jewish life. I find it fitting that this relates to my Hebrew name, which is Chaya Sarah. My middle name is Susan, the anglicized version of Sarah, who was my great aunt. I can sum up my story this way. My life as a Jew has changed color, from gray to blank to technicolor, as so vibrantly symbolized by the outdoors behind me. Thank you for listening. Yes, you can.
Deb, thanks for sharing your bright colors with all of us all the time. It's such a pleasure to have you as part of our family. And thank you for agreeing to speak as part of our Elul series. Well, a few announcements. Rosh Hashanah is coming up. Sunday night, 7:30. Just a reminder, please, everyone, that this year, we know it's a change from many years past, but we are requiring tickets on your way in from everybody, even the people we know. We want to see tickets from everybody, and it's about security. So please do bring tickets with you. If not, you'll be asked to show ID and sign in. So Sunday night services are at 7:30 p.m. And we do still need help for the Erev Rosh Hashanah Oneg. You can sign up to help set up or clean up or bring something yummy to share. There is a sign up on Meal Train, which you may still be able to get into, but if not, there was a link in the weekly emails. Just bring something or come and offer to help, and I'm sure somebody will find a job for you. The High Holiday Food Drive, which I mentioned a few moments ago, will begin shortly. You'll be able to take an empty grocery bag or tote home with you during Rosh Hashanah services or during Kol Nidre services, and you can bring them back on Yom Kippur Day filled with food if you choose to, and we'll be able to donate them to Shoreline Soup Kitchens and Pantries. So Monday, September 30th, services begin. Rosh Hashanah Day 1 begin at 9:30 a.m., followed by Tashlich approximately 12:30, but I don't know exactly, usually when services end up, where weather permitting, we'll be walking all the way down to the Chester Ferry, boarding it, going about halfway out into the river, and casting off literally our sins for the year and starting off fresh. It's such a treat. Then at 2:30 p.m. is our children's service, and it notes with apples and honey. Then on Rosh Hashanah Day 2, Tuesday, October 1st, we have services at 9:30 a.m. as well. Sunday, October 6th, we have our community memorial services at our two cemeteries. 1 p.m. we're at Fountain Hill and Deep River, and 2:30 p.m. we're at Rodfei Tzedek in Mudis. And then Yom Kippur is the 8th and the 9th, and we'll be able to review those times as we get closer. And if you have any questions about specific parts of the days, you can check on our website. And then a reminder that the afternoon service on Yom Kippur and Neil Isker and the Neela will be followed by our big communal, delicious Break the Fast. We ask all who are attending to please bring a dairy or vegetarian item to share and or help with setting up or cleanup. You can contact Beth Brewer if you have any questions about that. We eat well at this congregation. That is never a question. Speaking of, thank you to tonight's Oneg sponsors, Jody Winch and Robert Winch and Ellen Roman. Any other announcements? Anything I'm missing? Okay. Then let's turn together to our concluding prayers, page 78. Aleinu, please rise. Page 85. A poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson, Crossing the Bar. Sunset and evening star, and one clear call for me. And may there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea. But such a tide as moving seems asleep, too full for sound and foam, when that which drew from out the boundless deep turns again home. Twilight and evening bell, and after that, the dark. And may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. For though from out our bourne of time and place the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. Page 86. In just a moment, if you hear the name of a family member or friend on our Yortzeit list, and if you're comfortable doing so, you're invited to rise when you hear his or her name. This allows us to recognize your loss and offer you comfort. And then we will all rise to join you for the recitation of the Mourner's Kaddish. Tonight we mark the Yortzeits, the anniversaries of death for Joseph Belcourt, David L. Vixen, Marcia Cohen, Erwin Davidson, Milton Davis, Esther Farber, Perry Fishbach, Marie Goldstein, Kathy Kaufman, Joan Leibovitz, Carol Ledworth, Rita Nierenstein, Dorothy Rishal, Ida Sachs, Sally Scherer, Sophia Starr, and Martin Zwerdling. Zichronam Livracha. Who else is marking a Shiva Shloshim or Yortzeit and would like to share names out loud? May all of the memories of our loved ones always be a blessing to all who knew and loved them. Together now we all rise and we join in the words of Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabah, be'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei t'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shemei rabah v'rach le'olam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei t'kudishah b'richu, La'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushvechata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom yomromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'akol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Please be seated. We will conclude tonight on page 92, Olam Chesed Yivaeh. Olam Chesed Yivaeh, Yadadai, Yadadai, Yadadai. 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 I will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. And you must
build this world from love. And if we build this world from love, then God will build this world from love. Shalom, shalom. May all of your comings and goings be filled with shalom, peace. Shabbat Shalom. Please come join us in our One for Kiddush, and Motzi, and Nash.
I'll take your vote.
I have a big wine on there. It's wonderful. Selfishly, I enjoy it.